Hey, welcome back, you guys. It's Mr. Fleischman. This is part two of FracCalc Checkpoint 2 help. So you're going to kind of be a little bit lost in the woods if you're trying to jump into this video too. Highly recommend going right back to video one. Kind of caught me right in the middle of implementing this method. So go back to video one if you're just joining us and pick us up there. So where we left off, we're going to go ahead and build some cases for when operand 2 is simply just a fraction with no whole component. And we're also going to build something for when it's just a whole component and no fraction. So it's going to be really easy to decide if it contains, the string contains a slash character, right? So if it contains a slash character, then we can simply, we know, right? We know that there's no whole number component. You might be thinking, well, what if it was a mixed number? Oh, that would have been caught here. Okay, so we know that if the code goes to this point, we're not dealing with a mixed number. And if it has this, then it must just be a fraction. So what is the whole component then? What is the whole component? It's 0. Right? So if we're dealing with just a fraction, then the whole component is 0. Well, what if it's neither of these things? What if it doesn't contain this, which means it's not a mixed number, and it doesn't contain this, it means it's not a fraction? What does that mean about operand 2 that's coming in? The entire thing is the whole component, right? Otherwise, we would just want to return, right? So otherwise, let's connect these all. This is going to be nice here. Else if, and then finally else. Just a whole number. Else return. You just want to return the string itself. Okay, that means the whole thing coming in was just a whole number after all. Okay, so after we kind of clean up this pseudocode, what this block looks like is this. I'm going to kind of make it look nicer because that's kind of the person I am. So hopefully, you can go back and rewind and look at that pseudocode to see if you can make sense of it a little more. So this is the whole method, right? Not that bad. So it deals with every case, a mixed number, just a fraction, and just a whole, okay? So the other methods that we're going to build look very similar. Okay, let's go ahead and implement find num. You see this one right up here? So find whole is now no longer yelling at us. Now we just got to find the numerator, and it's going to be a very similar process. Okay, let's check it out. See if we can build it. Public static string find num, and then takes in a string parameter, and it's going to be str just like above. Just my my customary declaration that, of course, this is not the only solution. Some of you students out there may have found way cooler solutions than this one, and I would love to see them. This is kind of just the first place my mind went. Okay, so let's talk about this same category. Okay, what kinds of things could come in? What kinds of things? We could get mixed numbers coming in, 3 4/5. We could get just fractions coming in, like 56/98 or 97ths, or we could just get whole numbers coming in, right? And they could be as big or as small as they want. So we need to kind of build some logic in that's going to handle every case, just like above. Okay, finding the numerator. Okay, so let's go ahead and then let's say, let's just deal with the mixed number first then. Okay, how about this? So if the string contains that underscore character, we know we're looking at a mixed number. So where is the numerator if we're looking at a mixed number? Well, it's the index directly following the underscore all the way up until the index of the slash character. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and return that. That's actually kind of not that bad, isn't it? So we can just return it right away. We can say, well, what I'm interested in, if this is a mixed number, is I want to return the string's substring, or part of the string that contains the character right after the underscore. This is where the underscore is. Right after the underscore is +1. Do you get it? All the way up to the index of slash. And this won't grab the slash the way I wrote it. That's a period, not a comma. I got to make that a comma. And now it's happy. Okay, so one thing that you can assume here that we're kind of implying is that if we do have an underscore character, that we definitely also have one of these. That's just part of the input expectations, that you're not allowed to input something, say, that looks like this. That would break my method here. Perhaps sometime we can go back and build in these exceptions and stuff. Probably wouldn't even be the right place for it. So if we have a mixed number, then we're definitely going to have a fractional component, which means we're definitely going to have one of these. So if the string contains an underscore, I would like to just take whatever's right after the underscore all the way up until the slash. Okay, so which means that this numerator could be pretty big, right? It could be 420, 242, 44, right? Which means we're going to get the whole numerator. This logic works for any size numerator. All right, how about if it doesn't contain that, but it does contain this? Okay, so if, oops, my bad. Else if, so if let's say that the string contains a slash character, then we know we're looking at just a plain old fraction, right? Now we know, oh, it's not string, it's str. We know that we're looking at a plain old fraction. So if it were a mixed number, it would have been caught by the first block. Now, if it's a slash, now we know we're looking at a plain old fraction. And plain old fractions are easy to see the numerator. It's the first stuff, right? We want to return the substring beginning at 0 all the way up until, we're going to borrow the same thing, all the way up until the slash, okay? Not bad, right? Now, what do you notice about the last case? Okay, do we need to spend some more time on this? Let's think about it. Remember, so we're not a mixed number because it would have been caught by this block. If the string contains a slash, we're looking at a plain old fraction. So that's easy. Let's just grab everything from the beginning up until the slash. And that's what this does, okay? So otherwise, we're looking at only a plain old whole number. What's the numerator component of this? Well, according to the instructions, it was 0, right? So we can just return that there's 0 numerator. Okay, this should be pretty clean. Okay, so this idea of considering the 3 kinds of input, pretty straightforward, right? So now find num up here should stop yelling at us, and now we just need find denom. So let's bang that out real quick. It's going to be very, now that we have this sort of schema that we're working with, you guys are probably ahead of me. Public static string find denom string str. Okay, again, we have these cases, okay? Let's just borrow the structure of it. I don't know. Well, actually, let's just kind of think of it independently. Okay, let's think of some inputs. So we have mixed numbers, 4 and 5/6. 39 halves and negative 988, whatever. Actually, this one's even easier, isn't it? So can you see where there's a denominator? There's a denominator if there's a slash character. If there's not a slash character, there is no denominator. I'm wondering now that I see this, I wonder if that's something that we could have done for the numerator. Maybe. The fact that the numerator is squashed in the middle of the string sometimes. Now I'm thinking out loud. Let's go back to the denominator. I think this is going to be okay up here, this numerator. Maybe a little inefficient. Let's come back and visit it in a minute. Looking at the denominator, though, you know that the denominator is only there if you have a slash character. And if there is no slash character, it means there is no denominator. And if you remember from the instructions, we have to return 1. So check this out. So if the string contains slash character, then we simply want to grab everything after that, don't we? So let's just grab the string substring, str.substring. And this time we're going to use this version of the method where we only mention 1 index. So what we're going to begin at is str's index of slash character, but one past that, correct? Okay. And if we only give it 1 index, right, say right here, it'll assume that you want to go all the way until the end of the string. Okay. The other substrings we've been using have 2 indexes, and that kind of sandwiches between 2 index values. If you just give it 1 index, the substring method, it'll assume that you want to go from that index to the end of the string. So which is what we want to do, because every string that has a denominator ends with a denominator, right? Can you kind of see that denominator is never not the last thing? Okay. So we're almost done with this thing. We're going to go ahead and clean it up in video 3 here. You can see I have 30 seconds left. Let's go ahead and return some stuff here. We're going to finish find denominator in video 3. We're almost done. And we're going to test these and kind of like maybe make a JUnit test case to kind of like really kind of rigorously test our code in a fast manner. Okay. Video 3 coming up. It's the final video. We're almost done with checkpoint 2. Talk to you guys soon.